Getting started, we're back with even more Roblox accessories with bandage eye patches inspired by Limbus Company in a few different colors. There are some variants and colors that work with any outfit, and it's pretty flexible overall. I'll be dropping even more anime and manga inspired drip, so check it out. Buy them down below at our group and follow me on Roblox to help me out. Thanks again, and let's get into it. What's up guys, it's Punchy, and today we're back with another Deepwoken patch, hopefully fixing up from last week. As always, I'll do my best to test everything new so I can show you what I can in the current update. Last week we got some mantras and talents, but the main problem came from the mobility physics rework. This was near game breaking and was truly negative, but let's move on to this week. Anyway, as always, the best way to experience everything new is to hop in game and try it out for yourself. Make sure to like and subscribe so I can hit 120k, and let's get into it. Alright, kicking off this update with some changes and tweaks to the mobility system. Overall, there has been some changes here and there to hopefully fix some of the issues coming in from last week. So for starters, wall jumps and climbing have been fully reverted to the old movement system, but now they work on ships. I think this feels generally the same, just with more capability, and I'm happy about it. Sliding has also been reverted to the old movement system, but it works on ships, and this was a big thing. Instead of going nowhere on slopes and slipping around on flat surfaces, I think it's fixed up and hopefully better. Additionally, dodges and air dashes now change direction instantly, which is better for movement accuracy, and jump height has been returned to normal. Everything about these specific changes hasn't been reverted to the old system, but adjustments to the new physics have been made to put them in line with the old one. Ships supposedly have better support for movement and combat maneuvers, but we'll have to see, and it's hard to tell. Overall, the unnecessary mobility change that nobody really asked for is being tweaked and adjusted, so it's back to normal with bonus capabilities, and honestly, I'm happy that's the plan. With some fully new content and better ways to do things, shrines can now be found around the depths, making it much easier to access instead of glitching inside the Temple of Hearts. As many players know, every single shrine is located inside the Yunshul Temple, and to clarify, they haven't moved, but now shrines have been added to other spots in the map where they weren't there before. They're all over the place and kinda hard to find if you don't know where to look, but there are more options here and there to cut down travel time and make build progression less annoying if you don't have a legitimate access to the Yunshul Temple. This is great and adds a bit more to those empty depths areas. Alright, now onto some customization additions. This is honestly amazing and I absolutely love this. Heading on over to Sev in Meteor Isle, this NPC is fairly new and accepts crowns for different cosmetic options. Now, in this patch, you can buy a bonus add-on from Sev to permanently unlock many colored equipment, letting you dye any equipment piece on any character without needing to spend dye packets. Dye packets were only attainable from traders, boats, and of course layer 2, but after a large portion of crowns, you can now unlock this mechanic for every character in the future and save a ton of time. I really like this, and I think crowns should be used to speed up progression or unlock cosmetic options, and this is exactly what I want to see. Up next, with one of the greatest additions to Deepwoken cosmetic customization, we now have access to the equipment position editing. This is huge for somebody like me who loves creating cosplay builds of characters, and let me show you what's up. So for most equipment, after slapping them on, you can now head on over to your stats menu and right click that item to edit its position. Now after this, a UI will display with your XYZ position as well as your XYZ rotation options, and this is great. With many different items, it's possible to change them however you like to add many new combinations and previously impossible looks that didn't exist before, and it's pretty amazing for making your character stand out. I love this and I want to see some really creative drip in the future, but leave your own thoughts down below. With even more interesting updates to equipment visuals, many armor pieces that didn't have a material now have some, so there's no doubt that some players will enjoy or dislike this change, and it really is subjective, but I think some items look better with this system overall. It's hard to really say if this is an improvement for the game, but I'm not really sure myself, and I think it's very, piece by piece based. Overall, armor should look less flat and more consistent with everything in the game, but some of those old options that people liked may look entirely different. Talking about entirely different things, there's been a weird visual update to the staple of Deepwoken with the campfire. For some random reason, I can't even tell you why, the campfire pits have changed to look completely different, and quite simply, I do not think this looks great. Not only do these wood materials completely change compared to any other wood surface in the game, even sticks, even trees, they've lost that blocky, simplistic charm and iconic shape. This is another instance, in my opinion, of unnecessary changes to something unproblematic that looked good in the past. Say what you want about my subjective opinion opinionated take, but I think it's valid to say that this doesn't match the current style of Deepwoken, and yeah, it just doesn't work. Luckily with this change, you're now able to physically break them by dealing damage with anything besides the normal beat press to break, so we just have more options in ganks. One massive change that I think looks extremely out of place is the new shrine model, which is a bit strange to say the least. So for every single shrine in the game, they have been swapped for this for even more optimization, which I think is good, but the color for each shrine is a bit more mossy green instead of the original stone look, and their face seems to be plastered on with a texture instead of a model. Personally, I kinda like the old design because of the shape and texture, but now it's completely changed. But if you turn down your graphics, the visible color and material changes are way more apparent than before. Besides this, the cauldrons have also been changed with their appearance for the sake of optimization, which I am overall a fan of, but you know, the shape is completely different. Reworks for game efficiency makes sense to me, but when it's a totally different size and shape, I'm starting to ask questions about what the point was. The Trident Spear weapon received a similar treatment, adding texture to its model, and I think they'll be doing this more for more weapons in the future. I don't know how I feel about this. Once again, it just looks too realistic compared to other options in the game. Luckily, with a cool change to something that I think does look better is the texture improvement to the Thresher monster. So previously, these guys were kinda plain and flat with their skin and claws, but now they have some depth. In this update, their paint has been renewed entirely, making them look a bit more slippery and scaly like lizards, and yeah, they're grosser than before. If they want to update the world overall, I think it makes sense to start with the monsters because that would be the most realistic and scariest things that players fight. Moving on to some balance, there's a few things here that I want to highlight. For starters, with an oath, BLINDSEER finally got access to another combat module slot, which might be game changing compared to some of the other oaths. Since it was the original oath, a lot of power creep has occurred for the last couple of years, and maybe now it competes with the current landscape. Wrapping things up for this update, that's all I gotta say for now. Please leave your thoughts down below about all this new content, and hop in game for weekly battle royale. The devs are always asking for feedback, and this helps them out. Thanks once again to all the supporters who motivate me daily and directly help out this channel. If you want to join as a member, go down below, but besides that, my personal Discord, guild Discord, and my UGC group are all linked, so check them out. Thanks once again, and make sure to like and subscribe. It's punchin' time.